Welcome back to Way Too Early on a busy Thursday morning. Congress appears no closer to a solution to fund the government with less than 3 days to go until a shutdown begins. House Republicans yesterday squashed the bipartisan funding plan from the Senate, with hardline conservatives criticizing it for having aid for Ukraine. Meanwhile, the House GOP is pushing forward with a plan to appease hardline conservatives with steeper spending cuts, which is likely to fail in the Democratic-led Senate, even if it were to somehow pass the House. This all comes as Republicans in both chambers are playing the blame game, despite beginning this process with the deal already in place between House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and President Biden on how to fund the government.
The House is working on passing 73% of all the appropriation bills of the job we're supposed to do by Thursday. We're bringing up on Friday ability to fund the government, but at the same time secure our border. So yes, we're doing our job. So what does the president have to do with that? If he wants to sit and hide in the White House and put government into a shutdown, that's on him.
You have $6.2 billion for Ukraine. They do nothing to secure our southern border. That is just a non-starter. The Senate needs to get real. You've all seen the images at the southern border. It has to stop immediately. And this government should not continue to be funded if we don't secure our border.
This is a huge mess, and here we are at midnight, the night before an exam, and we've just started to study. And there was really no need for this to happen the way that it went down, and I've been frustrated by the process. I thought we would be better than this, and here we are scrambling, and no one knows what's next.
So, Mr. President, a vote against a standard short-term funding measure is a vote against paying over $1 billion in salary for Border Patrol and ICE agents working to track down lethal fentanyl and tame our open borders.
Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Seth Moulton of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. He serves on the Armed Services Committee and is a combat veteran who served 4 tours with the U.S. Marines. Thank you, Congressman, for being here this morning. So let's talk about the possibility for this shutdown. There's new polling that suggests that Americans would basically blame everyone. 32% say that everyone is blamed equally, and then you have another 29% say it's the GOP, 14 Democrats. But as many have noted, there was a deal already struck between McCarthy, the House Speaker, and President Biden a few months ago, and now it seems like the GOP's gotten cold feet. What's your assessment of where things stand, and is there any way that the government's not shutting down in a few days?
Well, look, it really is up to Republicans, and it's up to Republicans in the House, because in the Senate, Democrats and Republicans came together 77-19. So a lot of Republicans and Democrats, the overwhelming majority of the Senate, voting to fund the government. They're sending that bill over to the House. All we need to do is, under Speaker McCarthy, take up that bill and have a bipartisan vote on getting it passed. And you would see a lot of Republicans and a lot of Democrats in the House doing exactly what happened in the Senate and averting this shutdown. The issue is infighting in the Republican Party. The people who won't even let Speaker McCarthy take this bill up for a vote because they say he'll lose his job. So this is completely bickering among Republicans. And unfortunately, for those of us Democrats who want to do the right thing, who want to join with Republicans to make sure our government gets funded, there's not much we can do if Speaker McCarthy won't even put that bill on the floor.
So what do you make, Congressman, of where things stand with funding to Ukraine? There are support in the Senate. About 2/3 of the House yesterday voted to have it in. But there are, of course, very loud voices in the GOP opposing any and all. How concerned are you about where that stands?
Look, I think it's concerning because funding Ukraine is incredibly important to our national security. I mean, when I sit on the Select Committee on China, and when we look at deterring war in the Pacific, at sending a message to China that they should not start a war over Taiwan, the #1 issue is how we respond to Ukraine. So investing in Ukraine now is an investment in our national security now and into the future. And the reality is that most Republicans behind closed doors know this. As you pointed out, even when faced with a public vote last night, there were 2 amendments to strip Ukraine funding out of the bill, and an overwhelming majority of Democrats and Republicans voted to keep it in, to support Ukraine funding. I sit on the House Armed Services Committee. When we have behind closed doors briefings, when we have classified briefings, the Republicans are almost unanimously supportive of Ukraine. But then they get out on TV the next moment and say something different. Then they play to their base, just like Kevin McCarthy is subservient to this extreme, dangerous wing of the Republican Party that's against Ukraine. And that's why we have this quandary. It's not because they don't believe in it. It's because they don't have the political courage to say it.
And Congressman, lastly and briefly, please, the impeachment inquiry process into President Biden is beginning today in the House. There seems to be no evidence yet of any wrongdoing. What do you expect to happen today? What's the pushback?
I mean, when you see Ken Buck, who's one of the most conservative Republicans I know, writing in the Washington Post that this impeachment inquiry is completely bogus, there's no evidence to support it. I mean, they're obviously just playing politics, and they can't even get the government funded in the process.
All right. Democratic Congressman Seth Moulton of Massachusetts, thank you so much for being here this morning. We'll hope you come back soon.
Take care.